Skyrim's vanilla combat is repetitive, and I'm sure many of you can agree. Yet, with the previously created video, I showed you 10 mods to improve the combat experience, whether they were visuals or just actual mechanics. I showed you mods like Maximum Carnage, Spell Siphon, and Locational Damage VR. Yet, some of the mods can be changed to decrease the script amount, and other mods can be added to add a bit more oomph to the immersion of your game. Combat for an RPG is a foundation of an RPG game, for the most part anyway, and you cannot deny that for Skyrim. And if you do, then why? What are you playing it? How are you playing it? Why are you, what are you doing? Anyway, we're here to change our combat experience even further. Hello, my name is Soul and welcome back to SkyrimVR mods. These mods are mainly brief descriptions and brief visuals of the mods that are confirmed to work in VR. If you want a more in-depth review of a particular mod, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to get to them as fast as I can. If this video helped you decide on a mod or you simply enjoyed the input from this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more VR and community content from moi. And if you do, don't forget to hit the bell to stay up to date with all my videos. I also stream on Tuesday and Friday on 3 platforms: Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I also do art streams sometimes on Saturdays, so pick your poison. Linktree is in the description. Also, if you'd like some modding help from me or you just want to join my community, join the Soul Chamber, my Discord server. Now, let us enhance our combat experience. Again. Before going any further, this list is inspired by a video from a Reddit user on the SkyrimVR subreddit, user Monster92. Hopefully I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. They demonstrated the possibilities of combat in SkyrimVR and it was a phenomenal watch. So, link to that original post in the description. First off, we have Vibrant Weapons Lite. This is a light version, clearly from the title, of the original mod, Vibrant Weapon, as the original mod is an ESL file, and SkyrimVR ESL files just don't work. They can be flagged as ESLs, but being an actual ESL just doesn't work for SkyrimVR, sadly. So Vibrant Weapons Lite is VR compatible, but is also script free. There are features that aren't available from the original mod, but if you're in VR, this is what you want. If you are on SE, you can get the original, which is what you want if you're on SE. Links to both mods in the description. Anyway, about the mod, Vibrant Weapons Lite adds fully animated visual effects to existing weapon enchantments that are from the vanilla textures, yet they also add light, so you can use your sword as a torch if you wanted to. The effects will be dispersed when they're sheathed, and this mod is also compatible with enchantment mods like Summer Mist, and another mod a little deeper in the list. And we can expand this effect with our next mod, Alteration weapon spells. This mod adds 3 new alteration spells to enchant a weapon of your choice. That's one-handed anyway. Weapons that already have enchantments cannot be enchanted with these spells, as that would be pretty much broken. The spell would disappear when sheathed, and the 3 elements of weapon enchantment that are added are fire, frost, and shock, the typical elements. These can be purchased from Farengar and Whiterun, Nullakar and Winterhold, and Tolfdir in the College of Winterhold. These spells last up to 3 minutes, so they can be used quite well. This will work with the previous mod, yet you may need the Alteration Vibrant Weapons spell mod because it's kind of vague on the Vibrant Weapons Lite mod page on the terms of what you would need to actually use the 2 mods together, but this was needed in the SE, so just in case, I'll leave this in the description as well. Now on to the next. In a previous video I mentioned Sea Enchantments, which is still a solid mod, but if you want something different, you can try Visual Animated Enchants, or VAE for short. VAE is a visual replacer for the enchantments of weapons to make them more spectacular and add a bit of immersion. But it also adds unique visuals for nearly all the Daedric artifacts, so if you want a little bit more oomph to your enchantments, then there you go. This mod is an alternative to a mod I mentioned in the previous comment video. As I said earlier, it is a Sea Enchantments, but pick and choose, pick your poison. If it's a little bit too much, there you go. And if you prefer this one to make it a bit better, we can add Adjusted Visual Animated Enchants, or AVAE for short, or AVAE for short. It simply adjusts the enchantments to be a bit more minimal, because I agree that VAE is a little bit out there. Now for some more foundations for our actual gameplay. Immersive Movement, a mod that changes the NPCs and creatures' movements to make Skyrim a more believable experience as well as realistic with its immersion. It grants a slight challenge in the gameplay, and it is compatible with mods like Mortal Enemies. This mod is meant to go towards realism and gives a more realistic pacing to the game. Almost making you approach situations differently is the goal. To give some examples, humans and humanoids are much slower and different weapons will affect their mobility. Animals are designed to move like how animals should behave, for example, saber cats being faster and horses becoming a bit more useful. Creatures like Draugr are slower when they first revive themselves to protect their tombs and gradually increase in skill and act as if weapons have no weight. And these are just small tidbits that immersive movements affects. And then to increase the immersion of battle, we can add Know Your Enemy. Know Your Enemy is a mod that forces you to change your usage of weaponry. Enemies and armors are given traits that affect resistances and weaknesses. Weapons are split apart in their respective categories as well as spells, poisons, and diseases. Vanilla enemies and armors are all affected other than the honky chunky dragons. There are also a series of books throughout Skyrim that enhance your abilities to fight these buffed enemies, giving you a slight edge. The player will also be granted a spell to see a particular target's traits as well as your own armor in the active effects list in the magic menu. Here are some examples to give you a bit of an idea of what Know Your Enemy does. The undead are immune to poison and disease, and they're also resistant to shock by 50%. They're also blade resistant by 0.75, blunt weapons by 0.25, and arrows by 0.25. Their weaknesses are axes by 1.25. These are all damage multipliers, by the way. Creatures can have multiple categories they can fall under and will receive those weaknesses and resistances as well as adjustments to fit the creature best as possible. For example, like a bear, they are big, furry, and vascular creatures, and ash spawn are rocky and supernatural. Each creature type will have their own respective category and will affect the way you play in the game. These also apply to the armors as mentioned before, like armors that have their main materials fur, that will grant you resistance to frost, but a large weakness to arrows by 1.2. Yet with metal, it will grant you resistances to blade and arrows, but are susceptible to shock. Dwarven are metal and deep, while armors like ebony are non-conductive and deep. Again, each armor type is in their own unique category affecting your gameplay. You'll want to be smart with your equipment with this mod installed, especially with combat overhauls like Smilodon or our next mod. Blade and Blunt, a complete overhaul of the combat system to increase that difficulty and encourage the player to be more resourceful. This combat overhaul wants to enhance the existing Skyrim mechanics for combat instead of implementing new ones from different games. It wants you to use your skill and have a more of a character development fitting for an RPG. It features more intelligent AI while also being aggressive, the pacing is faster, and the reach is tweaked. You'll now have to be careful with your stamina and magicka, as you could experience debuffs when they reach 0, and your resources will not regenerate during combat. To increase the immersion, you can add the optional timed block module from the file section of the same mod. Essentially, this adds a parry system, which leads to our bonus mod segment. Dual Wield Block VR, a mod I've covered before, essentially allows you to block if you are dual wielding or if you have a spell in your offhand. This SKSC plugin can be edited with its any file for faster executions. And before going any further, this mod only works if you have a weapon in your main hand. Now the main reason why I'm adding this to the list is to show you the adjusted any settings to get that preem pairing experience. Now it's a simple and quick edit. Once you go to the any file, simply change max speed enter to around 6 and max speed exit to 7. It's a quick block. Pairing this with the retimed hit frames from Nemesis engine makes this combat experience much more immersive, and you can now parry effectively. And another little bonus mod is Voidgate, from the same author of Spell Siphon, which brings you a portal to wherever you wish it to be. Essentially, it's similar to the function from Diablo, which I've never played, but I know of the feature. This mod allows you to create one point that your portal will lead to, and you can move this point whenever you wish and as many times as you wish for your role-playing pleasure. You can set this point anywhere you so desire, and they are not fixed in any way. Wherever you place it, it's placed. You place the anchor with the Conjure Voidgate spell, which you can acquire automatically through the foam mod or purchase the book from the options within the foam mod, whether you want it to be a novice spell or an expert spell. Once you use the spell and create your anchor, anywhere in the world afterwards, casting that spell again and walking into the portal will swap places with the original anchor. To go back to the same spot, cast the spell again, and walk through the portal again. This mod is simple, immersive, and its visual effects are actually quite pleasing to look at, especially if you have another additional mod to adjust the magic casting like SkyrimVR. While I hope these mods enhanced your combat and experience, even if it was ever so slightly, let me know in the comments what you took from this video. I'm very curious to know. Well, that's it for this top 5. If you have a specific category or role-playing type of character you want me to cover for your SkyrimVR, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to get to them, possibly. It gives me ideas for these videos though, for real. Do it. Give me something. I want it. Be sure to endorse the mods you've downloaded to support the creators and encourage them to do more or to just give them pride. All the links for these mods will be in the description below, as well as a link tree for my socials and streaming platforms. Don't forget to join the Discord to be up to date with my content or to just chat with me and my fellow souls. Come on, do it. We're having a good time. If you liked any of the mods or found this helpful, be sure to like the video. Also, you can see these mods in action on my SkyrimVR roleplay series, which is posted every Sunday morning, CST. If you're interested in other VR content as well as comedic moments, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of those future videos. And one last thing is to keep your soul free.